Okay, I'm Frank Morris, and I'm working on a series of lectures on ideologies and human freedom. Now, once an ideology, and as I say, we move it down belief systems to an ideology that's set and absolute. Well, once it's set in place, it provides a great deal for people. It gives you mental software so that you don't have to keep figuring things out. It gives you a social identity. It provides rituals that you go through in terms of prayer, in church, rituals of attendance, rituals of how you bow to Mecca 5 times or 10 times a day, I'm not sure of the number, or how you relate to others in a respectful way as Confucianism does. So it provides social identity, mental software, rituals, rhetoric. You get a whole in language. It's like, my goodness, I just picked up the 5 principles of Christianity, evangelical Christianity, and I have an answer for everything. I have the Bible, and I can say, God said, the Bible says. I've got answers. I've got rhetoric and in language. That's very important. I have a way to compare things and contrast things. I can compare a Christian to a criminal. I can contrast. I have a way of looking at things, and comparison and contrast is one of the things that's part of human nature to understand the world. Complexity is totally simplified. I punished myself this morning by reading a very long article written by a creationist. And he has 100 reasons why the world is only 6,000 years old and how science is wrong. He's a chemist, and if anybody questions him, he gets very sarcastic, and he goes through his various 100 reasons, which I punish myself by going through them. Some of them I got, some of them I didn't get. He's very right about the original assumptions, but he doesn't have to deal with the complexity of geology or the complexity of astronomy or the complexity of mathematics. He doesn't have to deal with that. He's got a very simple system. God created the world 6,000 years ago, according to Bishop Ussher, Irish Archbishop, who went through all the stories of the Old Testament and figured out that the world was created in October of 4004 BC, on an exact date at 10:30 in the morning. So he has, complexity is reduced. He justifies his righteousness. He can feel narcissistically correct and good. He's on the side of God. He's on the side of Muhammad. He's on the side of Buddha or Confucius or Abraham. So he's got a sense of being righteous, and he has meaning with that. A search for meaning is definitely a part of the human quest, and you can see it in books. So he's special, and he has homeostasis. He is not wobbling. He is set. He is correct. Therefore, when you begin to ask, how can we challenge these? Why do people accept voluntary slavery, mental slavery? I'm telling you that when that ideology is set, it is set. And they do not want any confusion. They have the truth, the ultimate truth, the absolute truth. So help me God, so help me Milton Friedman, so help me Ayn Rand, so help me Muhammad, so help me, whoever. That's an ideology. And so, why do they do that? Why do they set this voluntary slavery in place? I've given you many, many reasons in the last lecture on human nature, and then today in terms of when they get set with that ideology. But I'm going to do something very controversial. I'm actually going to criticize various ideologies. And so I'll give you a fair warning. I intend to address evangelical theology. I intend to address Jewish orthodoxy, the Muslim fundamentalists. I intend to speak to those. Why? I like something Thomas Jefferson said, and you can see it on the wall of the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. I have sworn on the altar of God. I could say I've sworn on the altar of honesty, eternal hostility against any form of tyranny over the mind of man. And I think it's the job of everyone to articulate about these ideologies and how they're destructive, how they ruin human potential. I'll give you one little bitty example. In monotheism, in Judaism, Christianity, and in Islam, women are tremendously discounted. They are not really considered a person of equal merit, equal brains, equal experience to a man. And that is destructive. And I will address that very straightforwardly. And yes, I know one of the things that an in-group ideologist person will do is, well, you don't mention Ruth in the Old Testament or Esther. She spoke up. You don't mention a woman here or a woman there who was good in terms of being a thinker. I'm talking about the overall effect of these monotheistic religions in terms of women, as one example. And why should we address these? Because I believe very much that in a connected, globalized world, that now is technology is connecting us with instance. Immediately, a business meeting could consist of people from 10 different countries in the world, that we can no longer afford nationalistic ideologies. We no longer can afford I'm good and you're bad ideologies. We can no longer afford racist ideologies. We have a different world. And it's a very dangerous world because of all the ways humans have developed in terms of destroying it, including, and maybe especially, global warming. So I've given fair warning. I know that people have homeostasis in these religions. I'm not looking to be liked and loved and appreciated and marveled at. I intend to tell the truth.